Let's visit the 90s all over again. Put on those hammer pants. This is Dope Nostalgia.
Welcome, friends, to another episode of Dope Nostalgia, number 165, and I'm your host, Naomi. I am so lucky and honored to have gotten this guest all the way from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where we got to Zoom from. He's there celebrating South American summer and has so many amazing stories to tell us. He is the king of freestyle music. Stevie B is on the show today. And here's some background information on Stevie B.
Wikipedia moment.
Please bear in mind that Wikipedia is not to be taken as actual 100% fact. Any donkey could edit it at any time. If I'm reading you the artist bio, that stuff is real truth.
Stephen Bernard Hill, known professionally as Stevie B, is an American singer, songwriter, and record producer who was influential in the freestyle and high-energy dance music scene of the late 1980s, mostly in Miami. He had a 1990 number one hit ballad called Because I Love You, the Postman song. Stephen Bernard Hill was born on April 19, 1958 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He worked a variety of jobs, from car washing to fast food, before gaining recognition for his 1987 National Club Smash Party Your Body. It was also the title track of his 1988 debut LP, which eventually went gold. In '89, he had his first top 40 hits with I Wanna Be the One, In My Eyes, and Love Me for Life. With his 1990 album Love and Emotion, he reached the height of his success, with the accompanying single, Because I Love You, enjoying 4 weeks at number one on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 in December 1990. He had 2 other top 15 hits from Love and Emotion with I'll Be By Your Side and the title track of the album. In 1995, a greatest hits album was released by Universal Records in the Philippines, simply titled Dream About You. In 1998, the best of Stevie B was re-released, highlighting the light dance pop sound that marked the start of his career. In August 2009, he released The Terminator, which features the lead single Running for Miles and a remixed rendition of one of his biggest hits, Spring Love, with a guest performance by Pitbull and the music video featuring Polish model Anita Sikorska. Now, folks, he's amazing, so much fun to talk to, and I feel very blessed to invite today's guest onto the show. Guys, welcome, Stevie B.
Naomi, tell me something. Let's go with it.
Welcome. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Dope Nostalgia. And I'll tell everybody that today, joining me from Brazil, it's such an honor to have the king of freestyle, Stevie B, here on our show.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, man, it's just so wonderful to talk to you. Going way back to the beginning, when I think about, your origins of your music, what made you decide this was your path? You're going to be a musician.
Well, I didn't decide it. It decided me. So we try all these things, and you never know what's going to take hold. And, you start to build up all this excitement about life and what you're going to do in junior high, elementary, and then high school and all these things. And, at one point I was going to be a professional tennis player. And I was going to be, a baseball player, and I was going to be a football player and all these things. So I was in a high school band, but I was not the lead singer. There was a singer went by the name of Howard Johnson. In 1980, he had a number one hit with a record called So Fine. And Howard was our lead singer for the band. So he had that Al Green and that heavy textured voice, and I had that little mini tenor voice. So long story being a little bit longer, Howard went on to do something big. I went to college, and I heard his record actually while I was in college. And I said, I might give it another try. And it took some years. It took me almost 7 or 8 years, but I just kept trying to produce. I wanted to be an engineer first. And I didn't have anybody to do some of the vocals I wanted to do. So these rappers came in, and I did a rap song, and then I heard the stuff from Noel, and TKA.
Ah,
And I said, man, I could do that. My voice was kind of tailored for that. They weren't like incredible singers kind of thing. They were just cool singers, got a good feel, but what really drove the music was the beats and
yeah.
the melodies and cool little voices. And I said, shit, I think I can do that. So I did it, and lo and behold, people liked it. So like I said in the beginning, it chose me. People liked it. I said, well, maybe it's just a one hit thing, and it's not going to be any more. So I didn't plan on doing much more. I said, then another hit, and then here we are, 35
Mhm.
years later.
It's amazing.
Hmm.
Do you have other people in your family who are musical as well?
Yeah, my son is a very big producer now. He's 28,
Mhm.
and he was born in the freestyle era,
Mm.
but he is another generation. So he likes freestyle, but he's a hip hop, R&B, and pop. And he does, he's done Justin Bieber, he's done Migos, he's done quite a bit of stuff. He's actually one who discovered Post Malone. So he is in that generation
Yeah.
of producers and artists.
Those are wonderful credits to his name.
Oh, no doubt about
Congratulations,
that.
he's doing
No
well.
doubt about that. Yes.
How have you taken care of your singing voice over the years? What do you do? Like if you're going to
Well,
go out
it's
on
not.
tour, do you have any
There
kind
is
of
not much.
preparation?
Yeah, it's not really that much to take care of. I mean, my singing voice is almost like my talking voice. I can just go right from one to the other. And my eyes gotta believe there's something. I can just talk. So I don't do all that. All that stuff and screaming and blowing my voice out. I don't do that. I don't write like that, and that's not my style. So my
Mm.
voice is always in pretty good shape unless I get kind of sick. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't fare very well. But other than that, I'm always in pretty good form. It's not the voice I have to take care of; it's my hearing
Oh
that
yeah?
become an issue. My left ear, I lost a lot of the high end on my left ear,
Mm.
so I'm dependent on the right ear and some of the mids and lows on my left ear. But other than that, I'm pretty good. Thanks, for being a 65-year-old guy.
Oh yeah. And you're looking terrific. At
Hey,
65.
hey, I just got out of that pool right behind us. I just got out of it. I do 100 laps, 200 laps a day. So I try to stay in pretty good shape.
Oh, that's really good to hear. So you're living down in Brazil now, is that correct?
Yes, I live in Brazil during the off tour season,
Mhm.
which is now and has been since middle of December. I come down and spend 2.5, 3 months. I take off. I didn't get a much chance to take off, but I don't work all day. I was in the studio yesterday and I produced a song for a young guy who is part of what they call the offspring of freestyle in Rio,
Ah.
and it's called funky melody in Brazil. They don't call it freestyle; they call it funk. So we have a different version of funk in the states, and even in Canada, it's like Rick James and Parliament Funkadelic. That's funk to us, but here they call our music funk music. And now the offspring of that generation, when we came here in 91, 92, 93, they're right around 30 something years into it, and they're giving homage to freestyle or funk music. And one of the guys, name is Bobby Rum, R-U-M, but it's pronounced Hum, like,
Oh,
Hum, Hoom, because R in Portuguese is H, like. So
okay.
Bobby Hum invited me to do this song called Nossa Bandeira, which is it's called Our Flag. Freestyle is our flag. Look at it. It's been flying, and we are proud. And it's the music that opened the doors in the favelas. I don't know if you know what the favelas are here in Brazil.
No.
Those are the ghettos.
Yeah.
So who accepted Stevie B first in Brazil? Freestyle music was the poor people in the ghettos. They're the ones who brought me up, and then everybody else caught on later. But that normally is how musical trends go anyway, just like hip hop, R&B, and underground music. the elite don't catch on quickly. They just follow what the streets are trending, you know. And so that's what I did a lot during this last 2 months. And but I take my time off. I just left the beach. You see, I got my nice little tan working. But I was on the
Sweet.
beach as an hour ago, and I just jumped in the pool and did my laps. So I try to stay in shape for a 65-year-old guy. Yes.
Oh, yes, that's wonderful. Doing
Mhm.
well with it.
Thank
I
you.
wonder I wonder if the reason why the beats and the hip hop and freestyle translate so well is because the music is so full of joy.
Yes. I think that's there's an attachment to uh, different things when it goes on to music. Some people attach to the melodies, like Brazil. They don't. The majority of them don't know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
but they cry right at the right time. You know, when I do a ballad, they cry right at the right time. But they love the melodies. That's why they call it funk melody.
Mhm.
And the funk is the beats and the rhythms. But there are people who attach to the lyrical structure, whatever you're talking about sometimes. And then there's people that attach to the rhythms and the melodies. So, and, it depends on what you're going through in your life. It has a special place that attaches very early and it carries on through. If you got some good music, it does.
Sure does. I feel like that says something too about the emotional delivery in your singing, you know? Like they
Mhm.
can sense that feeling that you're putting across to them, and I think it's a
Tell
beautiful
me, tell
thing.
me, tell me about it.
It's nice. Well, um, we mostly talk about the 90s on my show, but we also talk about what you're doing now. But to go back a bit, when you think about the late 80s, early 90s, what shows did you enjoy visiting the most? Being on some of your favorite hosts, things like that. Do you remember some of the great shows
Well,
you were on?
yeah, I mean the shows. If you're talking TV shows, I did Passage, Arsenio Hall. I've done the Apollo Theater. I've done quite a bit of stuff. Um, all of them were kind of fantastic. I think I highlight a few of them on that video that I have out right now on the Take It All Back video.
Mm,
So where you see all the nice TV looking footage that's paying homage to some of the successes. We don't get a lot of accolades in the quote unquote industry. So we have to kind of toot our own horn.
mm,
And I think that was a part of the horn tooting on that first video. And then I dropped another lyric video yesterday, and it shows a little footage from Magic Mountain and places in LA at the big theme parks when, we were kind of like the first boy group, you
mm.
know, before Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and all those guys. So we were doing that. But we've been surviving now. It's going on 35 years. Thank goodness we've been here.
Exactly. That's a wonderful thing. Yeah. And what about performances in front of an audience? What's one that really stands out in your mind?
I got to be honest with you. All of them stand out. I don't
Yeah.
put one before the other. If you're talking about size, I mean, I've done stadiums, stuff like that. But I enjoy mostly the close up and personal shows more. You can see the people's faces and see the emotion. When you're doing the bigger shows,
Mhm.
it's a little less intimate.
Yeah.
Uh, but I like I guess a small seater would be maybe a couple thousand people, but at least I'm up closer and I can feel that energy. It's just, I mean, I feel it all of them, but the tighter shows
Mhm.
give me more satisfaction that way. Yes, I guess you would say that.
Feel like you're at like a party with your friends.
I do it. I had a friend that had a party last weekend. He invited me, and of course, he had to tell his friends that I was coming. And they had a samba band playing in the back on the patio. And next thing you know, the DJ pops on some Stevie B, and one thing leads to another.
Mm.
And I just went over there and rocked the fucking house, you know. I had to do it. I had to do what I had to do. I couldn't contain myself. But I do that. I enjoy doing it. They expect me kind of do it, but I do it. I just, I had a couple beers and stuff. I loosened up a little bit. I just have fun, you know.
That's what it's about,
Yeah.
honestly. Um, how did things change for you? The big hit happened, the Postman song. Now, what was it like getting a number one single for, and it was 4 weeks at number one, wasn't it?
Yeah, we got lucky because a lot of people probably don't know when you enter the number one position during the holiday season, like right after Christmas, you lock in, so it stays locked. They don't change it. So I locked in uh, Christmas of '89, so it carried me over to 90, and then of course on the strength of the record, it stayed another 3 weeks. So we had 4 weeks at number one, and then we had a wonderfully graceful fall from one. We beat Whitney, Bette Midler, Elton John. I mean, some super heavy hitters. So your little old Stevie B was hobnobbing and hanging with the big boys on the charts.
What an amazing feeling. Who were you working with as a producer during that time on that album?
That particular album had a very incredible history because Warren Allen Brooks is a guy that I was working with earlier in my career when we weren't making it or doing anything. But he and I formed a little group back in '85 called Friday Friday, and we put out a little record. It was like a duet between he and I. But the problem is Warren wanted to sing, and his ass can't sing. But but he's a great writer producer, and then he can blurt out what he's trying to sing when he's writing. But as far as him being a artist, he hates when I talk like this too. Come on, Steve, man, come on, man. But he and I did that song in '85. We broke up uh, soon after, and we parted ways. And I went on to have hit records, lots. And we were just getting ready to do my third album, which is the Love and Emotion album. And I got a phone call from the label that this guy, Rowan Allen Brooks, is trying to contact you. He keeps calling up here. They say it's an emergency. And I finally got the call in, and Warren was in the hospital. And I hadn't heard from him in years. And he was in the hospital, he had a nervous breakdown. So I talked to him on the phone, and it was a very sad day because I said, "What's going on, Warren?" "Steve, man, I've been trying to contact you, blah, blah, blah." And I'm getting to my point when you talk about that album. He said he was not doing, feeling well, and he was depression, and said, "Man, I see you on TV and radio all the time, man." He said, it's killing me. I've been trying to contact you. So I said, "Where are you?" He says, "I'm in the hospital." So I talked to the nurses, and I got him out of the hospital, and I sent him down to what I had at that time was called B-Land. Elvis has Graceland, I have B-Land. So I sent him down to B-Land while I was on the road, and I won't take this much longer. And but when I had him on the phone, I said, because he'd let me hear a piece of "Because I Love You" 4 years or 5 years earlier, and he had this book of songs. So I said, "Warren," I said, "Well, I'm gonna send you." I said, "You still have that book, right, with all the songs?" He said, "Nah, man." He said, "I burnt it. I was pissed." I said, "No." I said, "What happened to the Postman song, the thing you sang with the Postman thing?" He said, "Oh man, don't worry about that." He said, "I remember that song." He said, "I got that." I said, "I want that song." I said, "I wanted to go on my album." I said, "I told you years ago, I think that song," because he only sang me the first verse. I said, "I think that song could be a hit record one day." He said, "You think so, Steve?" I said, "Yes." So I sent him down to B-Land. I was still on the road. I came off the road, and we began to pick songs for that album. And Naomi, he was on fire. He wrote and produced 7 songs on that album, including Love and Emotion and Because I Love You. And if you look at the credits, he has quite a few records, and he became a millionaire from that record, and it changed his life. And he never wrote any more hit records though, because he finally got some help, and they got him on his medications, and he fucking got too happy. He couldn't write no more. I said, you need to get off your. I said, when you want to write, I said, get off your medicine for fucking a month, get sad again, and get your ass in the studio. But I say, but as long as you're taking the juice, you ain't gonna be able to. You're too fucking happy, and you don't know how to write happy songs.
Writing is therapy.
It's
right
totally
there.
therapy. But back to that album, that wind up being magical. That album, and it has a lot of history, because people think that Because I Love You is a love song between a guy and a girl, but it actually is a gospel song. The song is about when Warren was depressed. He said, I wrote a letter to God, and God wrote me a letter. He says, I got your letter from the postman just the other day. So God says, I decided to write you this song, just to let you know exactly the way I feel. Let you know my love's so real, because I love you. Because he was feeling some type of way.
Wow.
And most of us feel that way sometimes. But he told me that story. I didn't divulge it back then, but I divulge it now, because a lot of our audience are a lot mature now, and they've got families. They go to church or mosque or temple.
Mm-hmm.
And it hits them a little better. It hits them good when they hear that. It's food for the soul for them.
I think I like it even more knowing that.
Stop it.
It's true. I'm a Christian.
But
I find that very inspirational.
But that's the real meaning behind that. No doubt.
And did beautiful things for you and beautiful things for him. And it was a blessing.
For a lot of people, that song, I mean, it changed my life. I mean, I had hit records, but Because I Love You just took it to a whole new level, and it took it to a whole new level for him and his family and the people around him. So it's not just about you getting blessed; it's about you blessing other people too. Because some things ain't just made for you. Sometimes you're used as a catalyst to facilitate things for others.
We'll be right back.
Dope Nostalgia listeners, I love you, and I thank you so much for being a part of this show and its success over the last 2 years. We have what's called Patreon for those who want to support the show financially. For as little as $1 a month, you can become a subscriber and get bonus content, early podcast release, all kinds of cool behind-the-scenes stuff, and more. There's different tiers of membership starting at only $1 a month. And we even have some special merch for you guys who are in it for the long run. So please, join our Patreon. It's at www.patreon.com/dope nostalgia.
It's a It's a Conspiracy is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network and happily powered by ATB.
We are a bi-weekly podcast that aims to discuss selected conspiracy theories, alternative accounts, legends, myths, and more without coloring the topic with our conversation, until the very end of the episode.
We also feature beer reviews, lame jokes, bad puns, far too many 80s movies references, geek culture, and general nerdery.
Our real aim is for fun, inclusive content that doesn't take itself too seriously.
You don't have to be blisteringly paranoid of mind control to enjoy a chin wag with your old pals, Greg, Charlie, Andrew, the Irish Madman, and our podcast puppies, Kylo and Ren.
It's a Conspiracy is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network powered by ATB.
Introducing new Fruitomic Punch Gushers with a taste that's gonna drive you fruity. It's very, very different and totally appealing. It's new Fruitomic Punch Gushers, the fruit snack bursting with juicy fruit punch in the middle. So fruity, they'll really turn your head.
Whoa, I'll say.
New Fruitomic Punch Gushers. The blast of fruit punch is gonna drive you totally fruity.
Man, I gotta split.
Thinking about the history of the music you've made and not thinking about the singles, I like to ask people of the album tracks, of the deep cuts, is there one that you wish would have been a single?
All of them. I don't write demos.
Yeah.
I don't write B tracks. No pun intended. But I don't write throwaway tracks. Everything that I write is normally biographical. If I do a party song, it's probably about something that I've either witnessed or I've gone through myself. But there are no throw off tracks. But I like songs like "It's All About You" that I did on the "Never Gonna Let You Go" album a couple years ago. And a lot of my albums, came out. I never really released them, like marketing programs and to get them out to get on radio. I mean, the radio has been off of us for quite some time, so it's the kids normally dominate radio, and I got kids who are 18, 19, 20, so my 18, 19, 20-year-olds don't be wanting to hang out with no 65-year-old guy. So yeah, I get it. I get it, but radio has a little surprise now because nobody under 40 is listening to radio anymore. Everybody's on their own podcasts and their iPhones and everything else. Only the 40-year-olds, like in higher, we still listen to radio. That's the biggest skew on radio right now is that. But people are doing and listening to exactly what we're doing. I have my freestyling podcast now that's launching, and you have yours, and look where everybody is at. They're watching us.
Exactly.
Something to tell ya, 'cause I know you've been lost for a while. The whole world wants to control ya. Take the time to connect inside. Take a journey inside your mind. Have no fear, because you may discover. Breathe the breath of life from living water. Look deep inside. Maybe your mother looking back at you. It's all about you. Getting back to where you once belonged. You are the sun, and you headed back to you. You forgot where you're from. You're a shining star, and you can
I'm excited to talk about the podcast. Now tell me, what's it called? What's going on with it?
Freestyling with Stevie B.
Oh, and you haven't made your debut quite yet?
I did it. We have one in the can. As of last week, we did tests, and my host is and producer is Felix Sama out of Miami, and Felix is the one who is producing it for me because I'm just rolling all the time. So he's a good producer. He's been in radio for 35 years. He knows how to produce. He's a DJ. He's a program director and music director. So he knows how to do all these things, and he knows how to get all the sponsors, which is that got me interested. He said, Stevie, I got BMW and one of the liquor companies out the box. They're going to go just because of the amount of people you have on your Instagram and you have on your Facebook. So I said, well, shit, just bring them on board then. And then and we got really for an hour and a half podcast that we did last week. It's got, I think we did 10,000 views, and for people to watch an hour and a half podcast, eyeballs on your thing, it makes a big difference of how long they watch. Some people don't watch more than 2 or 3 minutes. So so we get the analytics, we see how long they're watching on average, but they watched me, and I think it's a good sign that we can bring nice conversation. We can just be freestyling like we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm. And it's only going to grow from here. But what a strong debut. Yeah.
I hope so.
I'll make sure we provide a link and everybody can check out the show. And they can get it on all the places you find quality podcasts, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's a link tree or whatever it's called. They get you with all of the platforms and stuff like that. So Felix does all that, and he assured me that we're going to be everywhere.
Nice. How are you feeling about the current state of freestyle music and the changes in the industry over the last 30, 40 years?
Well, I've gone through it, so it's not much. I went through it just like all the fans went through it. I mean, at one point we were on radio, we were doing good, and then we just got old. Musical trends change. It does. It just happens. It's nobody's fault or anything like that. Would I have liked to have seen it stretch out and have a sort of an inheritance effect and see more kids started? It's like hip hop. It's been around quite a few, but it's gone through stages and phases. It changed from the old Run DMC, LL Cool J, early hip hoppers, and now you have the mumble rap, you have the Post Malones, you have Nicki Minaj's, you have the Cardi B's. This is still rap. You have Drake. All of these is the new Dirt, Little Baby, Baby's Baby, Baby's Mama's Baby, Baby's Uncle's Baby. So they got a lot of that, but that's not us.
Right.
And now everything is trending old school. So there is a demand, I always say what goes around comes around, is in effect now for us, because now my son, who is close to 30, he's considered in rap old school because he's already been around 10 years. So now the younger kids are young to him because he's close to 30. So they're 17, 16 now. Everybody's making music. You have all of the internet phenoms and this one, that one, the other. So he's feeling kind of old. But those 35-year-olds right now are appreciating our music because they were born from us. So as much as they grew up with a certain kind of hip hop, they're rediscovering us. So that 35 plus audience is like saying, hey, I like this old freestyle stuff. The new freestyle, I gotta say, look, we're the old lion, and the young lions want to take over the harem from the new ones want to take out the old ones. So I critique it pretty tough, hard. I want to see if you can beat us. Can you stand the pain? Because we got hits, and you don't have the platform. They have actually a bigger platform than what we had. But can you beat those records? There's some classics that if you come from the freestyle era, we are high demanding when it comes to letting others enter into the genre so easily. So we put a lot of pressure on them. Me as an artist and as a producer, and the fans, shit. Not only are they tough on the new ones, they're tough on us trying to bring in something new into the game. So I got lucky with this new one, Take It All Back, because I incorporated the old school and I found a way to put something fresh with it. And it's blown up. It's taken off rather quickly.
Can we put a clip of it in the show? I would love to share it.
Please.
Let's do that.
Stevie B. Go back. Way back. From the minute that I seen you, I was sweating you like a freshman, just a senior. I couldn't even sleep, waiting for the next day just to see you, girl, just to see you. When you walk by my heart, it skipped the beat like a scratch CD. I was knee deep in them 4 letters L-O-V-E, sprung on Sting Love, damn, she got me.
Take it all back. You remember way back time when the world wasn't so uptight, and hot damn I miss it. Hot damn I miss it. We were young, we were wild and free. All I wanted was a move with feet, and hot damn I miss it. Hot damn I miss it. You looked around and everybody was getting down. No one on the wall and standing up in the crowd. We put our problems upon our shelves and enjoyed ourselves. I know it helps. If we take it all back to how it used to be, and made only you and me, it's all love. If we can take it all back, we're breaking in the streets and falling love to the beat. We don't want. If we can take it all back, your body, I'ma make you do it right. Your body, dancing to the morning light. Your body, you and you want some more. Your body, take it all back.
Yeah, I find that from those who I've talked to in the freestyle community, it's a close knit family. You know,
No doubt about that. I agree with that 100%.
more so than I've seen in any other genre.
Well, I don't follow. I mean,
Yeah.
for as much as I see some of the posts that come up on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that, but I don't follow that. That's just not my news. I don't want to see all that. I mean, it's just a lot of bullshit. Sometimes they fighting and this one and that one stealing. I mean, they're getting killed. They're killing each other. It's kind of so. That's just really not my area of interest. Other than I can look at it and say, hey, wow, well, maybe I need to be careful out there too. But our community is you're right. I guess you could say that we are very close knit. Freestyle people, they're coming out. They tough now. Freestyle fans, they ain't pushovers.
No.
So they'll tell me, you're not touching Spring Love. You're not remixing it. You're not remaking it. I'm like, but I wrote it. It's my music. I can do whatever I want. No, bro. That's ours. You don't touch that. You don't. But the way I did it on this record here, they're very accepting. They're not bothering. They're like, oh, okay, all right, okay. You didn't bother it, but you included it with some cool stuff. So I think we wrote something nice for the old schoolers, the mid schoolers, and the new schoolers. And hopefully we get some new fans out of this. I mean, you never know what can happen. It can go viral, but I haven't had this much attention on a record in a long time.
That sounds really exciting.
Oh, it is. It's good to be needed again.
I can't wait to share it.
Yes.
Yeah. Are there any collaborations you would like to make?
People don't know collaborations are pretty tough sometimes. It depends on, it's like a marriage and somebody says, hey, you want to get married? I'm like, bro, do you know how hard it is to be married? I mean, I got to share my house with you. I got to share my car with you. I got to share. So, how do you do it unless somebody can bring value to your stage, to your performances? Are they going to make you more money? And how meaningful is it? and how meaningful is the song? Because some songs don't are not supposed to get made by one person, let alone two. So, how's the money going to split? How are we going to perform it? Is it yours or is it mine? Are you the feature? I'm the feature. Or is it a straight duet? So there's a lot of things. It has. I get offered all the time, and I just did one that I liked with Bob. I told you Bobby Room. Bobby Room. That one excited me because of the meaning behind it, and it was exactly what I was trying to say during Take It All Back. He was saying kind of like the same thing to tell our story from the beginning. But for the most part, if it's a meaningful situation, shit, I'll do it.
I know.
At least got some bread, though. We got to make some money together.
But what you're saying makes complete sense. I never thought about those elements. That makes a lot of like.
Of course.
I feel like sometimes they just do it because everyone's playing off each other's star power.
They are playing off each other's star power.
Yeah.
So if Lil Durk's got 50 million and Little Baby's got 50 million, that's 100 million. That's like two networks coming together. You know, you got ABC and CBS saying, let's do this thing together because together we're bigger. And it's a way for both of us to make money instead of dividing the audience. Why don't we just bring them together by doing it together? So, and they find a way to hash through the details. And if you can get that and all the players are happy, then it's meaningful.
In the end, they have to be paying service to the song.
The song is crucial. I mean, it starts off with a good song. That's to be a great song. Yeah, I don't just do, like I said, I don't just do any old song.
Yeah. Well, I like how you explained all that. And I wanted to ask you about the current projects, of course, the podcast coming out. What else can we look forward to from you in this year?
Look, I'm always working on tour, and there's probably going to be about. I'm not taking. I don't think I'm going to do any club dates this year, so I'm done with those. I get offers to do that just all the time, and the grueling grind of that. So I'm only doing a lot of big dates. I'm doing all arena dates this year, or bigger festival dates, that kind of stuff, and that keeps me busy. It wears me out enough because we're not making a lot of money on music. The music is that marketing tool. It's the advertising tool to let people know that you're still relevant and you still mean something to the market and you're still present, because out of sight is out of mind. I'm actually real excited about the possibilities in the podcast, because I heard that a lot of people are making a lot of money in the podcast, especially if you can, I mean, you got DJ Collins and all these kind of people, they're making money off just the marketing and branding. They ain't doing very much. You don't even sing. So at least I can sing, have a personality and can carry conversations in most topics, from science to religion, politics, all these things. I mean, I have views and opinions that I think are pretty cool. Musically, I can, handle myself from production to writing to marketing to concept to consumer. So I have a pretty good broad vision and broad intellect that I can handle myself in most situations. And hopefully it can mean something to some brands to say, hey, I want to attach to Stevie B. That guy's cool. I can talk a little shit, or I can keep it fairly professional if we have to. So
but that's the fun in it. Talking a little shit.
I can, but I can talk a little shit too, though. I can get down and I can get in them streets too. I have had my time there. So well, let me just say it like this, Naomi. I'm a pretty big fucking deal. I'm a pretty big deal, sister.
Oh, you are. You are. Trust me.
Yes, I am.
It's been an absolute joy to have this conversation with you, and just for making the time for me today. I want to thank you, Stevie B. It's very, very special.
I appreciate you.
I really appreciate you too. And all the best of luck to you with the new podcast. It's going to be amazing. And I'll make sure that we put the word out.
I appreciate you, and I hope you continue to do some great successes yourself.
Thank you.
Social media, yeah, we've got it. Send us an email, dopenostalgiapodcast@gmail.com. Twitter, Nostalgia Dope. Or on Insta, dope_nostalgia.
This podcast is licensed by SOCAN because we believe that artists should be paid for their work.